So, a couple years ago, I went up to Boston with my family to visit some other family, and we with my mom and my brother, and we were visiting my uncle and aunt up in Boston, and we stayed in this hotel, and so we checked in pretty late, and the woman at the front desk told us that this was the last room that they had, but and it was like two beds and bathroom, whatever, everything's good, and then not to look into the room next to us, which was marked, which was just not marked with a number, and so we were like, okay, well, we don't really need to go bother other people, like that's not a big deal. So we went to our room and we were getting ready for bed, and I was just thinking, like, why did she even have to bring up, like, not going into that room? Why couldn't she just, like, leave it, and then we probably wouldn't have bothered them anyway? Like, I guess it was, like, kind of important that we didn't look or go in or anything. So that night, when we were going to sleep, I was thinking a lot about it, and it kind of kept me up that night, just because it, like, the idea of mystery is exciting, and, like, it could have been anything that's in that room, like either construction or, like, some crazy stuff, or, like, a room of jewels. Who knows what's in that room? So so when my mom and my brother were asleep, I decided to get up and just go maybe see if the door was open, or just, like, peek in. And that room was weird because the peephole in the room was just a hole in the door. It didn't, like, have the, I don't know what it is on peepholes, but, like, the thing that makes you not be able to look in. So I tried to open it, but it didn't go. So I looked in the room, and it was just a normal hotel room, except for there was a girl sitting in there, and she was facing the wall, and her skin was, like, really pale. So I was just like, well, it's some girl's room. I'm not going to bother her. It's not really a big deal. Like, I'm just going to go back to my room. And I was weird because I was wondering, like, when I went to bed I was wondering, like, why they told us not to go into that girl's room. Like, what was so important about that girl's room? So the next day I went to go see my aunt and uncle and a couple of my cousins. And then that night we went back, and when my mom and my brother went to bed that night, I decided to just, like, look one more time, just because it was really interesting that she just told us we couldn't go in. It was, like, you know, like, off limits. So, like, I really, like, was interested in, like, what the whole story was, or, like, what it was. And that time I looked, just went by, I, like, walked out with the ice bucket, pretended to go get some ice, and on the way back just, like, peeped through the hole to see what the girl was doing, or if there was something going on. And at that point I just only saw red when I looked in. It was just, like, all red. So I guess I thought maybe she, like, posted it, like, put a post-it over the peephole because she knew that I looked in, or maybe heard, like, me try to open it or something. So the next day my mom and my brother and I were checking out, and when they were going to go get the car, I stopped and I, like, hung out with the person at the front desk for a minute and just asked her why she told us not to look in or to go into the room or touch that room that wasn't marked. And she had told me that there was a man and a couple who stayed there 5 years ago, and the man killed his wife. And she told me that it was the ghost of the wife was still haunting that room. And it was interesting. She told me that the woman, that she didn't look like we look. She was super pale, except for her eyes were bright red.